Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Soul Talk podcast, where we explore the powerful connection between movement, mindset, and the way we live our lives. I'm Marybeth Hrim, therapist, coach, and a runner, and I'm so glad you're here. First, this is the first episode in this new series that we're doing here on Soul Talk. It's called Mindset in Motion. So, over the next several weeks, we'll uncover how the way we think impacts the way we actually move, and how the way we move can transform how we think. Whether you're a seasoned runner, a weekend walker, or just simply curious about living with more intention, this series is designed for you. And before we dive in, if you're enjoying these conversations, I'd love for you to join our growing community and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I share guided meditations, deepness or deeper wellness talks, and behind the scenes tools to support your journey. Your subscription helps us reach more people and keeps this content coming. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd love to walk this path with you. Alrighty. So let's get started. You know, when most of us think about movement, whether it's running, walking, yoga, strength training, biking, we always start with the physical, the right shoes, the perfect plan, the time on the calendar. But here's the truth. Movement begins here in your mind. How many times have you said to yourself, I don't have time. Oh, I'm too tired. I hit the snooze button, or I'll never be good at this. See, those thoughts actually really shape whether we begin at all. They shape the energy that we bring to each workout. They even shape how we see ourselves. And I know I've been down that road many times myself. And it's not easy to get out there. It's not easy to lace up and motivate yourself. So this is why mindset matters more than anything else. If you approach movement as punishment, a way to burn off last night's desserts, cookies, or your fix, something that you don't like, it becomes a chore. But if you take a different approach, a different perspective, and if you view movement actually as a gift, a way to celebrate you, a way to celebrate your body, a way to celebrate actually even your time, everything shifts. The same activity feels different because your why changes. So you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it for my health, for my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health? Actually, all of it, really. And, here's the best part. Mindset isn't set in stone. It's like a muscle, and it can grow stronger with practice. And it's every day practice. And it doesn't mean that you're out there hammering it every single day. That's really not what this is about. So how do we actually begin to change our mindset? Instead of hitting the snooze button and saying that we just don't have time, or, I don't have time for that, or I'm too tired, or I just don't feel like it. I'd just rather sit on the couch and, watch TV and flip through channels. So first, by noticing the stories that we tell ourselves about movement. A lot of times we think of movement as, again, as punishment or as pain, when actually it's not. It's actually feels good after you do it. At first, I think the pain is, of doing it. But do you ever catch yourself saying, I have to work out. I'm too slow to be a real runner. I'll never be consistent. See, if we tell yourselves this, you're not going to get out there and do it. So it's easy to think these thoughts are harmless, but actually they shape everything from our motivation to how much joy that we actually find in moving. And what we think becomes what we believe. And what we believe actually shapes how we act. So important. I remember there was a time when I literally couldn't walk from the couch to my mailbox. And somebody had called me up and asked me if I wanted to sign up for a half marathon. And I said, "Are you crazy? I can't even walk from my couch to my mailbox, and you want me to sign up for a half marathon," which at that time I didn't even know how many miles it was. I didn't know how long it was. All I knew it was far. It was like, and the story that I told myself is, I'm not a runner. I can't do that. That's not me. That was the story that I told myself. But here's where we can rewrite the script. So try swapping those thoughts for something more empowering. Instead of, I have to work out, try I get to move my body today, which will help you feel so much better physically, emotionally, spiritually, every which way. Instead of, I'm too slow. And who cares if you're slow? Try saying, I'm showing up. It was funny, I was on my Peloton the other day. Um, someone who had a screen name called I'm Showing Up Today. That is an amazing screen name. And I'm showing up today, and that's enough. Instead of, I'll never be consistent. Try, I'm learning what consistency looks like for me. And consistency is different for everybody. Again, it doesn't mean to go out there and every single day and just go, because that's a little, again, that's extreme. You don't want extremes. You want consistency, which is not an extreme. So every time you reframe, you're training your brain to see movement differently. And this is key because our brains are constantly wiring and rewiring based on what we practice thinking. You can't control every thought that comes up, but you can choose which ones to nurture. And I think that's the important thing because there will be negative thoughts that come up. That's just the world that we live in. That's just human nature. And that's okay. But again, if you choose to nurture those negative thoughts, that's a different story. So if you change the story and choose to nurture the positive thoughts or the thoughts that are going to be good for you, that changes everything. That changes everything. So how do you build up a practice, a mindset practice? So here's a simple way to start building a movement-friendly mindset before any form of exercise, whether it's a run, a walk, yoga, or even stretching. Pause for 1 minute and set an intention. Ask yourself, why am I moving today? It could be as simple as, I want to feel less stressed, or I want to celebrate that my body can move, or I want to show myself I can do hard things. Hold on to that intention. Let it carry you when your muscles get tired or your mind drifts out. Over time, this simple practice changes movement from a to-do list item into a meaningful ritual. And that is consistency. That is habit. Can also start keeping a movement journal. After each workout, jot down how you felt before, during, and after. I do that a lot with my runs. Sometimes the best runs are the runs that I don't want to go out and do. But once I start doing it, it feels so much better. And after, it's like, man, I needed that. Because it helps you track not just your mileage or your reps, but it tracks your mindset. You'll start to notice patterns. When you see progress in how you think, it's just as exciting as seeing progress in how you move. So I want to leave you with a few questions to sit with this week. So get out a pen and a piece of paper and jot this down. How do I currently talk to myself about movement? What kind of movement feels good for me in this season of life? How can I shift my mindset from have to get to? Write them down, journal them, talk about them with a friend or with someone that you trust. The more we bring awareness to these thoughts, the more power we have to change them. Again, I want to thank you for joining me for this first episode of our Mindset in Motion series. Remember, transformation doesn't start with a new pair of shoes or the perfect training plan. It starts with a new way of thinking about yourself, about movement, about what's possible. So if you found today's conversation helpful, I'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll find guided meditations, deeper dives into topics like this, and extra resources to help you move with intention. And if you know someone who could use a mindset shift, share this episode with them. Sit with them together. Together we can grow this community of mindful movers. So next week, we'll dive deeper into self-compassion, how being kind to yourself fuels lasting, sustainable movement. I'm Marybeth Hrim. Until then, take care of yourself, your mind, body, and soul.